Hello, everyone, and welcome to Beyond the Noise, the M.M podcast, where we cut through the hype and dive deep into the client success stories, industry data, and use cases surrounding AI in investment management. I'm Andrea Sala, and I'll be your host today. In the previous episode, we looked at how asset managers are scaling AI in the investment process, but today I want to dive deep into the practical applications and how it really looks like. And this is why today joining me, I have Andrea Binelli, Deputy General Manager at Amundi, and I hope he can share some insight as to how Amundi is putting this technology into practice. And joining him, we have our in-house guest, what I like to call Axel Meyer, who is our partner at M.M. Thank you both for being here today.
Thank you for inviting me.
So, thank you, of course, for being here today. And we know that AI has taken the asset management world by storm. Over 60% of asset managers have already integrated this technology, according to Deloitte. And early adopters, are starting to report tangible improvements in decision-making, in scalability, in personalization. So I'd like to kick off today's conversation with Axel, maybe, from your experience across clients, across asset and wealth managers, helping them integrate this technology. What are the key traits that you see in firms that have successfully gone beyond experimentation and implemented this technology within their investment process?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. Often you see firms trying to pick a small space within their own company to test it out. And if you see something like this, that usually never leads to success. It has to be a strategy that's agreed from top management, that's seen holistically across all the different functions that are affected, and then in a smart way adopt to where can that be beneficial. Often, if you have one use case that's somewhere hidden in one department, that you never can scale that around. And that leads to a lot of frustration within companies, which also means it postpones for them a proper integration later on. So companies who start from the top, understand, communicate well within the company about what they try to achieve, and then find the right areas they are successful and they see benefits reasonably quickly.
Yeah, and some of these benefits, and Andrea, you've sort of, in a big grand scheme of things, guided this integration within your team, maybe also on the investment side a little bit, but on your team, how have you seen these benefits evolve within Amundi?
Yeah, first, let me say something about the general environment, speaking about the asset manager, the industry, because I think from my very personal point of view, so Axel, feel free to disagree about this, we can face the AI topic from three different points. The first one is from the content point of view, in creating narrative and storytelling for delivering products and services to the commercial networks. The second one is supporting the investment team in all the investment process. And the third one is maybe more common to also other industries. So in terms of process, the AI could be create more efficiency in many different processes. We have worked in all three topics. We have realized something concrete about the first one, starting from a POC, but now already in a rollout. And maybe I can spend some few words about this. But we are working also on the second one in the investment process, starting from the research, not already in the portfolio construction, but starting from the research. The third one I think could be a little bit more boring in this topic today, because it's more general for any kind of industry. Any kind of recurrent process could be more efficient with using AI.
Yeah, and regarding that content delivery that you said, a big topic today regarding AI within asset management is the mass personalization aspect, which when it comes to content, it can be quite tedious in developing. It can become time consuming, especially considering all of, the personal preferences of individual clients. Even, a recent CFA Institute survey found that over 70% of asset managers see AI as a key enabler to scale this portfolio customization and reporting. So we're seeing it taken by storm within the industry. Can you elaborate a little bit more as to you're using this technology to scale this portfolio reporting?
Yeah, we started from a business need from one of our customer. Our customer was a private banking, and one of their most successful services are the DPM, so discretionary portfolio mandates. And for private banking, they see the key factor of success for this kind of service are the customization of the portfolio. So our portfolio managers manage many different kind of portfolio tailor-made for the customers, but also the reporting should be customized, and this is a problem because to produce a lot of different reports not in real time but very fast to the delivery is a problem, and also is a human consuming factor. So we talk about the AI because and we realized with a fintech MDOTM we decided to realize with MDOTM with the fintech because we wanted to start in a very free, quick and smart environment, and not to internalize all the process to probably have taken too much time to deliver. And we start analyzing the portfolio, the different portfolio. We analyze a kind of a report. We tested the first release of the reports with a focus group, more part of private bankers. We got their feedback, and then we came back to reorganize all the job in order to deliver the right output for the private bankers on a regular basis, so once a month, for example, but also on demand. And this is very important because it's very important to have a concrete, strong narrative speaking with the final customer, speaking about their DPM, so the core part of the portfolio.
Their preferences, their constraints.
Yeah, their constraints, because when the markets are positive, everything is okay. Where there's some volatility on the market, you need to be more precise, to be more specific, to have the content, to explain all the holdings, all the other lines in the portfolio, and also the most important trade that occurred in the last 30 days, 15 days, and something like that. So a very specific with a general view, but also a specific drill down of the portfolio to help the private bankers to share all the information, the important information with their customers.
And I think that's an important aspect to that, and I think there's a few effects. One, clients feel much more recognized and appreciated, right? Be taken seriously since they have something that's bespoke for their own portfolio.
Exactly.
It's there on demand, so they don't have to wait 10 days until month after month and to get that.
On time.
But also, it frees up a lot of time from the investment side.
Yeah.
Right. So if you have a good system that allows you to organize and generate these reportings and these commentaries, it means in a time of crisis, when there's a market crash, when everybody wants to know what's happening to my portfolio right now. This is when portfolio managers need to focus on managing money, not on answering client questions. And with a good system, about 80% of the questions can be answered right away. And these clients are satisfied and think, oh, here, my bank, my wealth manager, they're doing a fantastic job. They're on top of everything. And so that's an add-on effect that's really, really beneficial for the investment side if you have a good system to do the reporting.
Yeah, this is a crucial point because in the reality, all the requests arrive in the same time. So and the customer I want it right now, and so now we are able to deliver this kind of solution, this kind of personalized, customized reporting.
And just also another aspect to that this good AI-driven reporting is way more than a large language model. I think a lot of people might think, you've been talking to wealth managers, private banks, globally, you often hear that we can build it ourselves, we just use a large language model. It's way more than that. You have to make sure whatever you say is relevant, it's cohesive, it's on point.
And you have a
right?
team dedicated to
Right,
that.
and then it's somewhere at the end of this process on the bottom, you need to put it in language, and this is where the large language model comes in. But the complication or the real added values in all these steps that come before that.
Yeah, in fact, we work a lot with the MDOTM team, with the private bankers, with the internal team of Amundi, the sales team, the investment team, to arrive at the final output and to check in many different conditions the kind of output, because it's not easy to be so sure in the future about the output in an economic environment that is still to come.
Yeah. Sorry. The one, what I would be interested in, when you explained how you implemented that, basically on the reporting side, on the portfolio customization side. So you basically had like 3 different projects on the same time. So how did that go?
Well, it was very important to work together. And to explain that this solution could be an advantage for everyone involved in the process. For the investing team, as you said before, it was also an efficiency on time consumed, because when many requests arrive, the investment team is involved in replying of this kind of requests. For the sales, it's very important to give more support to the private bankers, and for the private bankers is another way to be more involved in the investment process of the asset manager. Otherwise, from time to time, they feel a sort of gap or distance from the asset manager. But in this way, they are more involved. Also for the explanation, are for the final customer, also for the private bankers.
So you had, like in the initial phase, you asked all these participants for feedback and what works and doesn't.
Exactly.
Yeah, because also integrating this technology at scale within a big organization looks very different in regards to a smaller one. Sometimes when, especially in the last episode where we touched upon how it can be scaled, because sometimes it does not go beyond a pilot project, but within your team, with that feedback, that change of mentality, working side by side, you were able to effectively implement it, and not only within one team, but across several teams.
Yeah, it's very important. For one single project, like that one I mentioned before, it's quite easy, I have to say, because we are all focused on that process. I was thinking 2-3 days ago about AI with some colleagues, and very often in a different department inside the asset management, we use the same data. The same data. For example, the reports of a company, the volatility of the market, the yield to maturity, I don't know. So I'm in charge of marketing products and sales. So we have our vision of that data. The investing team use the same data, but to invest. But also the risk management check the same data to, the investment is doing the right thing or not. So we manage all the same data, but from different point of view. So it's very important, looking forward, to be able not to work in silos, but to work in a less fragmented process, because in the end we are working on the same topic.
Yeah, and we touched upon mainly the reporting side of things, so especially the distribution and the relationship with the client, which is a very important aspect of personalization. But we have another aspect for personalization, if we take a step back, that comes directly from, as you said, the DPMs as well, as to how AI can help scale personalization when rebalancing the portfolio or constructing it. Can you maybe touch upon that, Axel? How you seen this personalization, not necessarily in the end and the distribution, but before, in the construction, in the rebalancing?
Sure. I mean, this is also, of course, the clients, rightfully so, get more and more demanding how their portfolios look like. Right? There's an increase of affluent households, of high net worth individuals. They say, I won't invest exactly how I would like to have it. Of course, that puts a lot of constraints on the portfolio management side, how to implement that. But what you can do using AI, you can basically scale things up in a way that you focus on, a handful of core strategies along the risk spectrum, and then use the AI to make the adaptations to each specification. Right? So, as long as you have your top portfolios right and they perform well, your clients will be happy. since there are nuances at the end, whether they have Japan or not, and whether they have emerging markets or whatever, Finnish small caps, it doesn't matter, but it can be easily implemented and it still has that spirit of it. And I think this is also important from a wealth management side. I think you would agree, Andrea, you as a wealth manager, you have a way of investing. And you want to make sure that your philosophy shows not only through the top portfolios, but every single client portfolios. And using good AI, this is what you can do on the investment side. That even if you have a lot of specifications, your philosophy is reflected in each client portfolio.
Yeah.
If you can add something, it's very important, as you said, for wealth management. It's important, for example, for personalized, customized DPM, but also for business model based on advisory. Because especially for wealth management, so the private bankers discuss with the customer how to change the portfolio, and then can simulate in different ways. In using AI, they can adapt the scenario and making some simulation together. This is not from the asset management side; it's more on the distributor side on wealth management. But I think it could be very useful. But speaking about the investment process, if you don't mind, I can add something about the research part. So not the custodial profession, but what comes before the portfolio station. So understanding the macro scenario. So our investment team and in particular the research team working on that using AI. I'm not, to be honest, not speaking about Gen AI, but I'm speaking about more analytical AI. This base of using a lot of data, and to use that you need also a very strong, powerful computing capacity, I have to say. So if you combine these two factors, you can work on analytical AI. And in the macro research, the team, the Institute on the using, in part use it to understand in which kind of the cycle, of the phase of the cycle, the economic cycle we are. And to be sure they simulate and they recreate an economical environment and make some simulation to understand of, okay, this is the right reaction, it already occurred in the past, and not maybe in this period we can refer to the Plaza trade in 1985 or it's true or not, and with AI you can simulate such a kind of scenario.
Exactly, and basically what you do through that, you optimize the marginal contribution of everybody, right? Yeah. So you use the best skills everybody have to their maximum. Yeah. Without them having to do things that are not as good in it. Yeah. And so this is what AI helps you to do. And this is what we see with clients who implement that successfully. They figure out among their stuff what's that person best at, and then make sure that person spends most of the time at that piece, and try to do the rest by technical support using AI.
Yeah, and it's this combination of analytical plus Gen AI that we were talking about earlier that really brings an overall streamlining of the investment process, because it was even estimated that it cuts time by like 20 to 30% because it automates those mundane tasks and allows humans to focus on tasks that are more important, giving more value to their work, which sometimes it is maybe understood that by integrating this technology, it just replaces. I think it's more of an augmenting the day-to-day job of people. Yeah. What do you think, Axel?
No, absolutely. And it's also that it's also a combination of more people and the technology on top of that. So sometimes you hear people saying more cynically than not, well, if everybody uses that, everybody has the same results. This is not true. Since it's that combination of having your own ideas, having your own approach, having your own forecast combined with the technology. And that will mean, as I said before, that the philosophy of an asset manager, of a wealth manager, is always preserved. But it can bring out much better, more realistic, more sustainable results.
Has that been your case?
Yes, but I have also to say that you touch a very soft point, speaking about also the psychological aspect about AI, because we are human beings, we have fear, and so speaking about AI, we have to overcome the fear of being replaced in our job. This is one point that everyone in every kind of organization have to face from a cultural point of view. It's easy to say, but it's not easy to face in the everyday work to do with people. And working together is a good way to manage it, because you can speak to another team what could be the advantage in using AI and to have the same reply as a feedback.
I mean, that's actually a nice segue to how we started. Right? So when you ask about what makes companies successful, it's exactly that communication you need to have with all the people who basically get in touch with the AI within the process, and they have to be on board. Otherwise, it's failing. So that's very critical. Yeah.
And I believe that in a larger organization, well, having that mentality like really needs to come top down, because you have to transmit it to so many different teams and to so many different people that work in all different departments. So now regarding your team, how has the daily workflow changed? How has it been streamlined since integrating this technology?
But first of all, it's very important to have a general view, a general mission about AI, because another risk is from a part there's the fear of AI, the fear of being replaced, but also the curiosity. And speaking about curiosity, everyone start to I do this with AI, I try this, and this going a different way. So more the fragmentation than before. So you need a general view. You have to design a common and secure environment to experiment AI, and then to work on a project that involve different teams. You have to work on concrete project. Maybe we started from reporting, was a business need, so where it was very easy to start from that, because the final output was to give a good answer to our customers. But one of the key points was to involve different teams. You have to choose at the beginning the project that are not so vertical for a specific function. If you speak about process, could be also so vertical, but if you speak about investment solution and reporting about DPM or any kind of funds solution, it's better to choose a project that can involve different teams to create that kind of culture. That is not so easy. In every new breakdown technology, we face this kind of orthodoxy in the reaction of people. But I think now it's stronger than before, because we feel more fear about this.
So now you have been using it for a while.
Yeah.
Right. And so what kind of feedback do you get from the people who can use it, from your private bankers, from the investment side, from others?
No, from the private banker. So that one was were involved with the project are very happy also to have done their own contribute for this. The other one are happy to have a report, but they don't care about how it is delivered. I have the right report in the right time for the right customer. It's okay. It's a solution. The other side is your job. I have to say. But the feedback of the team who worked on was very positive and very good, especially because they try again. There was a project with a very known at the beginning starting point and a very known at the end ending point, but it was a loop process, because managing AI, you have different replies from time to time, and you have to check to put in secure all the knowledge base, to check all the kind of replies, to define not to be too much specific or too much general. So you have to work a lot on this. And so the feedback was very positive. The problem now is to use that kind of approach, is a sort of agile approach, and also this kind of way of working together in a more complicated process and solution or project. Because as I said before, if you think about the asset management industry, we speak about data about the market. All the department use that data, but we have to use together. Okay, the investment is using that data. Maybe when they use this to make the right choice on the investment solution, the sales market and the marketing are able to use that same data to create a narrative for customers. You are choosing that data to invest. Why you don't have to explain quite immediately the reason why you're using that data. No, it's a very continuous process, less fragmented, because now we are working still like silos. The investment department, the marketing department, so we have to work. It's complicated. I don't have the right solution. We have to just to try, but I think this is the way.
I think we covered basically a broad spectrum, but broad of the investment process. But what I wanted to ask, maybe for the both of you, what is your advice to firms that have not yet been able to scale AI in the investment process, which we know it is proven that brings efficiency, it streamlines the investment process, it cuts time and costs. But what would be the advice to get started?
Should I start? A few things we have said already. Having a clear vision from top management. But a clear vision means mostly the willingness to be open to assess the current status quo. Communicate well from the beginning what you try to achieve, and then make sure that what you want to do at the end is done in digestible bits. So that you can always keep everybody in the firm and the client with you on that journey. I think this is very important. Be honest to yourself about what is your real strength. Ask basically every department, what are these people very, very good at? So then let's try that they only do this or mostly do this, and then try to help with the rest using AI properly and communicate. And then it's going fantastic. And if you do it this way, everybody feels like being part of that project and being part of that success.
I totally agree with Axel, but he's the expert. No, I totally agree, but I just want to add, it's also for me very important to start from a concrete business needs, maybe not the revolutionary project, but
find a use case, a specific use case.
To find a use case and to deliver it, and this is very important, and then to share the knowledge that you have faced during the project with all the company, the part, and that it means communicate, but it's very important, and to create the right culture, the right knowledge about AI in the company. So also a lot of training, also because people are scared, but also curious about AI.
Yeah, to communicate as well and have that shared vision with the whole company. Yeah. I think this is a good time to wrap it up, and especially on a positive note, I think. First of all, thank you both, Axel and Andrea, for being here today. I think it was a great conversation to share with our Beyond the Noise listeners. And to our listeners/viewers, of course, today we moved a little bit past theory and saw the best practices and the success stories, of course, of Amundi as well, as to how they integrated AI within the investment process, as well with some shared insights from Axel, who worked with many asset and wealth managers in integrating this technology. If you enjoyed this episode, of course, make sure to follow us. And if you like to explore a little bit more about our documents, don't hesitate to look at them at www.m.m.ai, where you can also get in touch with us directly. And I'm Andrea. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time on Beyond the Noise.